Sir, good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Shall we start, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Hope you are doing good. And today we are on the session day number 9. And before we start into today's session, like any doubts on any previous sessions or any questions so far? As I'm keep saying, like keep asking questions, like open up. So that will make you to get into success easily rather than keeping silent and keep thinking. She seems to be very silent. At least say hi and good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, you can put in the chat box rather than unmuting and talking. Okay, thank you so much. So hopefully there are no questions. So let me start with the today's session. So today we are going to see something called as conditional statements and arrays in C#. Okay, so most of you are aware of that. Like for the people who are new and who is starting, let me explain. So overall, like aware of that, you are open to ask some questions or doubts on that, or you can even when I ask some questions, you can just give some answers or any suggestions. Okay. Okay. First one, what is mean by conditional statements? What is mean by condition? I'm asking a general English terminology. Like what is mean by condition? Must follow. Yes. So must follow, we say that as a rules, right? So condition is something similar to that, but it is not exactly that. Rules for certain things. That's what I was about to say to the Sashidharan question. Like rules is something like you must follow. If not, you will get into some issues or you will be having some penalty. Yeah, must follow is good. Um, so there is a thin line between rules and condition. So see, now government has imposed a rule. If you get out of your home, then they may put some penalty or they may put some case on you and they may arrest you. During when it was curfew or when it is during lockdown, you shouldn't step out of your home. So that is a rule. It has to be followed. If not, then you will end up in meeting some consequences. Whereas condition, like your mom or dad, they will be sitting at the home and you will be saying like, okay, I will be back in a minute. Like that, when you step out the home, your mom or dad will say like, no, stop there, don't do this. Or they will put a condition, okay, if you're going, you should be back within some 5 minutes. So this is what, like a condition will have some set of constraints, or you can either follow that or you can try something else. A rule, it's must to be followed. If you are not following, then you can't do anything. But condition is like something with some set of favor, or there will be some options will be given. So you should be very clear on rules and conditions. If I write some code, it has to follow a syntax. If not, the code won't work, it will throw an error. That is a rule, you should follow the rule. Whereas on the condition part, like you can say like, okay, if you want to go out, then you should be back in 5 minutes. Then you can negotiate, no, 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 I will be back by 10 minutes. Then they may say yes. So that is a condition. Usually, like if when you go with your friends, right, okay, you want to join me for a movie, then you will say, right, okay, then you should sponsor me a popcorn, something like that. So that is a condition. Like if you want this, then you want to do. Hey, can you drop me in Adayar? Then your friend may say, right, okay, can you get me a coffee? Then I can drop you in Adayar, like that. Okay, let's go grab a cup of coffee and I will drop you there. So something, if that is satisfied, then you will do. If your friend is not offering you a coffee, then hopefully you will say, right, no, I can't drop you, something like that. So that is a condition. Whereas rule is a rule. Like someone comes and orders you to do something, like you want to wear an ID card, then only you will be allowed into your college. That is a rule. If you're not wearing, then there is no condition, like they will say like get out of the college. So same way, like if you're having a driver's license, then you can ride a bike. If not, like you're not supposed to ride. If you are still doing that, you will get into some consequences or you get into problem. So there is a difference between a rule, and rules are must to be followed, where condition is like you can take up this one, or there will be some other option, or you want to go for something, like when the condition satisfied you will go for it, otherwise you will say no. um, so any other example, like um, if you do this one, I can do this, or if something is getting satisfied, then I can do the other operations. Like if you are coming to college, then only you can attend some classes, right? So same way. Did you understood, or because this is a normal confusion between the must follow and a conditional one. Must follow is a rule which has to be followed, but condition is like it is somewhat flexible with some compensations. Any doubts? Yes, no, anything you can post. Okay, so now it's the game time. So what this looks like: two-way. Okay, making decisions, right? So a person is standing and there is two directions. Either he can go on the left direction or he can go on the right direction. So both the answers given by Shashidhar and Indumati are right. Like one is two-way. There are two ways are available. One is left and one is right. Second one, the guy who is standing there has to do make a decisions whether he want to take the left route or he want to take the right route. So it is all decided by him and we can't influence. So this is how the conditional operator behaves. Like whenever we saw, like on the very first class, we have been looking while we are debugging, a control will go and it will read each line, right? So same way, let's take this guy who is on the black dress is a controller, which is a part of compiler. So the C sharp compiler is going and standing, and it don't know, like because the usual form of a compiler is to go one by one line, correct? And if there is any link for some other program, as we saw in one example, it will go complete the job and come back. Like how it is, like when you're going from your home to college, what you will do, you will take the bike and everyone will think like you are going to start and you will end up in college. But whereas on the way, you will just go stop in a bakery and have one snack and just get one donut, and then you will come back and again take your bike and go and come, right? So similar way, the compiler, whenever there is a function or a work has to be done, it will go, it will complete the work, and then it will come back and it will do. So this is how a compiler works. Whereas in some places, like a decision making thing, it will go like same example now with a conditional statement. When they start from home and when they want to try to reach the college, while coming on very big area there was an accident, so they will look for some alternate way. Okay, so now there is an accident, so there are two ways to reach your college. One is like a normal way, one is like maybe it will take some delay, or it has to go some through some village and it will reach your college. So there are two ways already, but you always take a highways or an expressway where it will be less time consuming. So but something happened there, there is an accident happen and which will take some time. So your brain will think, right, okay, instead of waiting for this accident to get clear, it will take another 1 hour. Instead of that, if I take the other route via a village, I can reach with some 5 minutes delay. Instead of waiting for 1 hour, I can go with a smallest delay, which is like less than 5-10 minutes. So your brain will say, so which route you will decide? Like you will wait for 1 hour and take an expressway, or you will take an alternate way, which is like 5 minutes delay, either 1 hour delay or 5 minutes delay. You can answer this question at least. I think this is a simple question. Okay, 5 minutes way. For this question, at least only one knows the answer, or two knows the answer, but still there are many people who knows the answer. There are two way. The fastest way got into some accident, so which will take some 1 hour delay. So which route you will take? A 5 minutes way or 1 hour way? That's my question. 5 minutes way. Okay. See, unless and until you ask some questions, then the session is going to be similar to what you do in your regular colleges, because learning a C sharp, like if you take up some YouTube channel, it will end up teaching you in some 30 minutes. So we are making it a big session, so it should help you in some way to make you understand. If you are not ready to answer, then it will be like a regular, I can just show the program and it will end up in that way. For that, you don't want me, you could have anyone to do that, like an online video tutor can do that. So try to interact. So let's make this somewhat comfortable for both of us to do. So all the three answers which I got from Shashidhar, Indumati, and Judith are same. Like it is 5 minutes delay. That is how your brain will say. Like instead of waiting for an hour, let me take a 5 minutes route and I can just reach the college. So that is how the decision making happens there. So that is how the conditional will happen. The same way it will happen in your program. So let me open a new project. Again, a console application. Again, a conditional project. So here we are going to see like how the conditional works and how it can be done. In C sharp, there are multiple conditional operators are there. So let's see some of those. So it's again the same program, the default one, which is having a main one. So here I'm saying like int route 1, which is 5 minutes delay, int route 2, which is 60 minutes delay. So I'm going to make a condition like how usually we will say, like route 1 is good, then I should choose route 1. If route 2 is good, then I should choose route 2. So how we are selecting like which route is good? If route 1 is good or route 2 is good based on the timing, because here time plays a vital role, right? So timing. So how I can check? Like I can check like if route 1 is greater, okay, then route 2. Then which one we should choose? We choose route 2. That is how the condition works. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one condition called as if condition. So I'm going to check like route 1, which is 5 minutes delay, is greater than route 2. Console dot write line. So out of which route is good? Like route 1 is greater and route 2 is smaller. If this is the case, then I should go for route 2. So then I will say route 2 is good. So I also need to print the route 2 value. So what I will do, I will just print that value. Time. So I'm going to do another one condition saying if root 2 1, then root 1 is good. So I'm doing two conditions. Okay. This is similar to a condition what you do with your friends also. So in this, which one will print, which one won't print? So there are two conditions, and two condition uses these two roots. So any one will work and other one won't work. So I just started debugging. So here, if you see, like first time I'm comparing in this if condition. So I'm comparing which one, and this Visual Studio is having one another feature. You can see here, just on the debug mode, I'm just going and pinning this. So what will happen? This value will be pinned here. So I can just override and pin here. So this value also will pin here. So what this means is like whenever there is a value during debug, I can see. So now root 1 is 5, root 2 is 60, which I declared here. So which one is greater? Whether root 1, 5 is bigger than 60 or 60 is bigger than 5. It's a common question, right? I'm not asking very big question like 60 is bigger than 5. Okay. So what will happen? This condition doesn't pass because 5 is greater than 60. So it won't get passed. So let's see where the control goes. If that is correct, it will go to this line. If not, it will go to the next line. So it went here because this condition is false. If you want to check that, I can show you here. So this is something called as quick watch. Okay. So what I used is like I used Shift F9. So quick watch is the one what we use mainly for debugging. Like whenever there is some values assigned, when you do a debug, you want to quickly go and see like what is the value of each one like that. So either you can do this kind of tagging the value and you can pin the value here and you can see, or you can go for a quick watch and you can see here like root 1 is greater than root 2, where root 1 value you know already, like 5 is greater than 60. This is false, so the value is false, which is of data type bool. So this if condition fail, it will come for the other one. Whenever the if condition is true, then it will go for the next line. So here also, while debugging, you can add this to watch. So this Visual Studio has an option to see this kind of watch. So here also I can click on any variable, right click on that and say like add to watch. So whatever I did here, right? So I can keep the value and root to right click and I can say add to watch. So this values all will be there. What is the data type? So now the condition is 5 is greater than 60, which is a false statement. So this happened. Now I'm going to add one more thing to my watch. Sorry, I selected along with if, it should be just this condition. See now if you see, this is root 2 greater than root 1, which means like 60 is greater than 5. It is true. So now if you see, this condition is true, so that it will automatically come for next line. See, automatically it came and now it will print the root value. Since I not made a console.read line, it never printed here. So I'm going to do Control F5, which won't be in a debug mode. It will immediately show like route 1 is good and what is the time duration it takes, like time delay. So route 1 is good and the time is 5 minutes delay. Are you clear with this one, this if condition? Let's go with the second one. So instead of writing multiple if condition, there is either this or that. Like how we saw in that example, that guy can take only two. Like either he can take this route. If he's not happy with this route, then the other alternate route is the right side one. So instead of making, if you want to go in this way, go left. If you want to go in this way, go right. Instead of saying like that, you can say like either choose left or right. Like that we can modify, right? So same logic is there. Instead of using two if condition, where here what will happen, compiler will take some milliseconds to do this manipulation and spend some time. To make this a faster one, what I can do, I can do one if, and here I can do one else. So in Visual Studio and in C Sharp, if you're going to write any single line of code, then you don't want any this kind of flower bracket or curly braces. If that is going to be more than single line, then you need a curly braces. Still this one will work because it is just a single line after a if condition. But if you want to print some other line, then it won't work. So it is an optional one for this. So for else, I'm not adding a curly braces. For if, I'm adding a curly braces. Now the condition says like if root 1 is greater than root 2, then it will say root 2 is good. If not, then it will go automatically to the condition. So what we did is, instead of system checking two places, comparing these two values again and again, I made as one if condition. So it will compare here. If this is true, it will go here. If not, automatically goes here. So this comparison time is saved. Okay, Sashidhar, I will answer your question. So here the comparative time is saved. So the main logic behind this is like whatever code you're using, you should try to think in a performance point of view, because here it is just a millisecond. But if you write some 10,000 lines of code and each code is going to take 2 milliseconds of time, then 10,000 into 2 is 20,000 milliseconds. So you want to calculate like how much your program will be delayed. If you're going for some kind of interviews for any of the gaming companies or any hi-fi technology based companies, then you will be answering a code and your friend also will be answering the code, but they will look for this kind of logic, like how your code is optimized and how your code is occupying very less memory and all those things. So this is where you should be concentrating, and when you write a code. And even for these kind of things like unwanted things or unused variable, if there, this kind of things, like I'm going to use only one using system library, but still all these libraries are there in my code, which says like whenever my system is compiling, it will go and look for all this DLLs and it will read all the information, so which is unnecessary. So only the C Sharp Visual Studio .NET itself is recommending to remove all the unused things, remove unnecessary usings. See how it is showing, like all the red things are not even used. So why you want to add all those things? If you want to improve the performance, then automatically you can remove the unwanted things. Okay, to answer Shashidhar question, in C program will we use the integer holder like %d? Is here any holder in C sharp? For your answer, no. So here C sharp can understand like based on the data type we are mentioning. So it is flexible compared to C. So there you will use like %d, %s and all those things. Here you can directly make this console.write line or other print statements, right? Console.write and all those things can understand what kind of data type, and it will make values accordingly. And there is one more thing, just for answer your question, Sashidhar. Here, instead of using plus, what I can do, I can use a comma, and here I can use the values like this. Since here 2 lines, I'm using a curly braces bracket here. Okay, now I'm changing the condition. Okay, instead of changing here, change here. This one is 560. Now, which is bigger? Root 1 is bigger. Okay, because 500 minutes. This is only 60 minutes. So this part of code will be executed. Sorry. Okay. So if you see, these two are same codes, like route 2 is good, time is 60, but this console.writeLine has the ability to handle the code in different ways. Like one way, generally just by adding plus, because it is a string value, and even though this is an integer value, it will be automatically taken care. So I have used here with the value plus, whereas here I kept a placeholder like this in a flower bracket, and I made root 2. If I have multiple values, then the consecutive placeholders will be like 1, 2, 3 and all those things. So don't we need format specifier like C or C++ in placeholder of 0? Yeah, you don't want any format specifier here. So you can just give whatever values you want. If I'm saying like something, if I want to type 1, and if I want to put root 1, this is just for the questions what they asked, I'm answering. Okay. Indumati and Shashidhar are asking about the placeholders, how we use for console.writeLine. So for that, I'm just explaining them. If you see here, like it is taking both the values. So you don't want to do anything for placeholder, just comma separated, and you can give hundreds of values here, and you can have the space holders for everything. That's it. Any doubts with if and if else? Okay, so this is one if condition. There is other conditional statements like switch and all those things are there. So how the switch case works? First one, switch is nothing but like you have multiple option. Like say you have like 4 switches in your home. When you enter your home, there will be 4 switch, and you know like each switch will work for each one. Like you will have some people will have the numbers, right, or they will have the names and all those things. Light, bulb, fan, something like that. You will have TV. All those things will be written in switch. So based on the name which you are going to press on or off, that same device is going to switch on, right? So that is also a conditional statement. Like usually what we call this conditional statement, like they have the tendency to make the flow to go in a different way. Like see here, they can skip the set of code and they can try to make something else. Okay, now you're going to select a leader. So who is going to be the leader for this party? So you can say like if he is having so much of eligibility, then this person will be the leader. If not, the other person will be the leader. So similar kind of thing. Like person who is having some 1,000 votes will be a leader. If not, the person who is having less than that will be the other leader. So similar kind of things will happen in if condition. So other thing is switch. So switch, how this works is like there should be a condition written here. Okay, so say for example, condition is some root 1 equal to 60. Then what will be the cases? So it has to follow some cases, case 1, case 2, case 3, and each case will have some set of values like what it has to follow like that. So this switch case, I don't want to say now. I will take it up in a later session. But just to give a awareness, like there will be multiple cases based on the value which is selected. So instead of having multiple if and else, if there is only two items, then you will have one if and one else. If there are three items, what will be the things? So what you will do if there are three roots, say root 1, root 2, root 3. So if this is 80, how the conditions will be like if root 1 is this one, then you will say root 1 is good. Okay, then again else if root 2 is good, then root 3, then root 2 is good. So again if else root 3, root 1, root 3 is good. If not, just like that. So don't look for the exact logic, I was just copying pasting. So what will happen, like there are multiple routes you are going to do with this kind of multiple if else statement, and this is called as like if else if and again else if then again else and all those things. So we call this kind of conditional pattern as if else later. So sometimes you have to use this if else later, but it is not always recommended because this will take more time compared to other normal if else. Like if there is only two conditions, then if else will be a very good one. Whereas if you are going to take multiple one, then it will be a problematic. Okay, so if else later will be like a time consuming one, and it will be a performance lagging one. So during this kind of multiple conditions you can go for this, like you can write some condition for a switch and you can write the case, like first case will be root 1 is good, second case is root 2 is good, and third case will be root 3 will be good based on the root values. So this switch statement can be used there. Any questions so far? Okay, so what is mean by array before this? If someone knows, like you can answer what is mean by array. Collection of same data type, correct. Holding many values into single variable, correct. Someone else? Collection of similar data, correct. So everyone knows something and many knows many things, but you are not ready to speak up, right? This is how like you will perform in an interview. Like even though you know something, you won't talk, and someone will get a job, and you will be waiting for other offer to come or other interview. So you should answer. It may be right or wrong. Start practicing from here. So don't wait for an interview to take a chance. If you're not ready to talk here, then I don't know how you are going to talk in other place. Okay. So if you see, like, I don't know, like how many of you have went to a DVD shop? I don't know, like now you are downloading movies and seeing, right? Like in my college days or my school days, like we will go to a video rental shop. There they will have a video cassettes, okay, VCR cassettes. I don't know, like you may hear about deck and cassettes and all those things. So the VCR will be there, and there will be a big cassettes, and later it become like CDs and DVDs. So when I go to that shop, right, so they won't just like that keep everything. They will be arranged in a proper format. Okay, when I ask for, okay, can you give me some Amitabh Bachchan movie? He will have one big box. He will take and he will open the box, and it will have some hundreds of DVDs inside. So we want to just wrap around each one, and we want to check and say, okay, like that. Then again, when I ask for some Rajinikanth movie, he will take another box and he will give, and I will wrap around that and I will check. Same way, like if I go to any friend's home, or some friends come to my home, they will ask, hey, can you give like your son's birthday photo, like that. I will have an album. Okay, I will give that photo album, and they will just have like multiple photo albums. Everything belongs to my son's first birthday. And when you go to someone homes, we will ask, hey, can you give your wedding reception photos? Like they will give one big photo album, and they will have like multiple photos all binded together. So have you come across this scenario? Have you seen the photo albums, or have you seen DVDs or this VCR decks? Yes or no? Hello. Okay, only Dilip has seen. No, Uday. Okay. Okay, at least like photographs, we will click the photographs, and you will keep all the photographs in an album, right? Like if you go in train, like I think in electric train, they used to sell one box for 5 rupees or 10 rupees. They will sell a box where you can keep, there will be some racks in that box. So where you can keep either visiting cards, or you can keep your ATM cards or credit cards and all those things, and you can keep as a box, a booklet kind of things. At least you are aware of this. If not, like very simple example, there will be multiple files. Okay, you will have many certificates right from your school, college and everything. Instead of throwing all the certificate in one place, like just like that, keeping everything alone separately, what you will do, like you will take all the certificates, you will make it as a bunch, and you will keep inside a file, and you will keep in a folder. If anyone has done this before. Okay, so this is nothing but to make some things easy, to carry some things easy. So that is called as an array. So what it is doing, like whenever you want to access, when I come and ask, hey, can you give your certificates, you should not go and search for all the certificate. Okay, wait a minute, this is my 10th, this is my 12th, and this is my undergraduation, this is my post graduation, and I have done my certification. Like each year I have done some extra certification, I have took some course, I have done some NCC, NSS, all those certificates, right? You can't just give me one by one, and it will be, each one should not be pulled from each places. So this all has to be put together, and it has to be kept in a file. That is a good way of handling the certificates, right? So whenever someone asks for that, you will just give the file, so I can go one by one, and I can understand, okay, all certificates of this person, and I can, when I go through that, I can understand, okay, who you are and what you are. When you go for an interview, there will be a file which will have all the certificates, right? So same way, when you want to group a set of values, and you want to have a hold a large values inside a memory, instead of keeping, there is a way, like you can keep each thing in one place, like how some people will have all the certificates as single paper. When you ask, they will search for each time and they will give, but that is not a proper way, right? So there should be always a proper way, and there is always an improper way. Okay, so the proper way, what computer will do, it will go and keep all the related data in a set of place in a memory location. So whoever asks, right, okay, can you give this value, it will immediately fetch, and it will be easy to access. Say for example, if I want to save a name, like if I want to save one name, uh, like Dhoni. So I know like memory can occupy only one character. So I want to keep D in one location. Say I have some 128 GB hard disk. So in that memory number 1001 will have letter D, and next O will be in some 5000, and um, H and n and I, and each one will be kept in each part of the memory. So instead of going like each time it has to read a long distance to get all the words and form into a single name and give to us. Instead of that, if they keep everything together, then it will be easy, like how you are having a file. So that is called as an array. So to make easy and easily searchable or easily accessible and to quickly bring the data and keeping the collection together, we have a data structure called as array in C#. So how it will be arranged, like if I have some set of value like 25, 40, 65, 98 and 100, say this is all your mark, like this is your subject: English, Tamil, Maths, Science, and some social science. Then this will be your score, and these scores can be kept together, and I can say like roll number 101, this is the score of roll number 101, like that I can throw. So each array can be assigned to one roll number. If you're handling with this kind of scenario, then you should go for an array. So array will have two things. One will have array element, other will have index. Index is the place where you are holding. So this index is always 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you are having your file, when you open a file, there will always be an index, right? File or your graph book or some record notebook, everything will have an index. Index will say like, okay, page number 1 will have this one, page number 10 will have this category, page number 21 will have this one, like that. On the very first line, there will be a page which will say like which page is having what content. So easily you can go to that place. Similar way, index will hold all the informations of the position, and array will have the actual value. So this is a array which will hold a set of values, and this kind of array can hold only one set of values, that is one data type. Either an integer, all should be integer. If that is a float, all should be a float. Decimal, all should be a decimal. String, all should be a string. So array can be of any data type. We can see like how to make an array, and this will have two parts. One is array element and the other one is an index part. And in the size of the array, we will always say the 0 as lower bound and the largest one as higher upper bound. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay. I don't know whether others are understanding. Only few people are responding. Hope you are understanding it. So this is the same example. This is how an array can be declared, like int array new integer of some values. So this is how it will be assigned. So let's go to a program. Deleting this. So I'm saying I'm going to create an int array. So int marks, okay, equal to new is always a keyword should be used to create any kind of database. If that is a simple database, then you don't want to do like int mark equal to 0, something like that. When you go for some a complex data type like array or linked list and all those things, you should use a new keyword. This all we will see in future. So new int of array, and mark I'm going to say like 80, 90, 100, 92, 95 for a student. Okay, so same way what you have seen here. So it is int of array new int of, I'm going to put some numbers. So this is the marks for one student. Okay, so what I can do, if I want to check the marks for the student, like let me go in this way. This is one way using array. So I want to print the mark of a student. Usually how I can do is like int mark 1, or I can say like English is a subject, right? So what will be is mark 80. Next int Tamil or Hindi, whatever. I'm just using Tamil for example. Then int mathematics, it's 100. Then int science, it's 92, and int social studies, which is 95. Okay, so this is how a mark of a student will be there. And if I want to print, I can just print console dot write line marks 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, right? Because we started from 0, and I can put the marks here. English, English, Tamil, math, science, social. So if I'm not going to use array, I will use this one to print the mark. So it shows like mark. Pardon me, like there is some activity, firewall activity by AVG. So it's keep coming there. So it will show like marks 80, 90, 100, 92, and 95. So I can still achieve without an array, but to make things easy and also to reduce so much lines of code, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a mark array. Later point of time, we will see what is for each. Let's see what it is happening. Sorry, I made a mistake. Okay. So what has happened here? See the lines of code I made, 1 line, 2 line, and 3 lines of code, whereas here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lines of code. So almost like 50% of the code is reduced. What I did, I took this array, and this is called as traversing an array. So I used a for each statement to traverse. What I'm doing, I'm just traversing this array. Like first I'm going to first element from the lower bound to upper bound. So first I'm traversing the index 0. So it will print the value of index 0, which is 80. So this all values, each value will be assigned for each round. So it is printing the same thing. This same set of line will be executed for 5 times. So 80, 90, 100, 92, and 95. So this array can be traversed. So you can use a regular value, or you can go and use for an array value. But wherever the scenario comes, like you want to go for a simple value or a complex values comes, like you should go for arrays. Say like if I want to manage the score of all the students, like almost 200 students here, so what I should do, then I should replicate these lines. So it will be like 200 into 5, it will be 1000 lines of code will be there. But here, if I'm going to use array for each student, I can put your student registration number or something, or student name here. So I will use only 200 lines of code. So think the lines of code here alone, like instead of, which is better, like having a 200 lines of code or having 1000 lines of code. So performance wise and some manipulation wise, this kind of using a complex array objects will help you. Any questions? Okay, so as I told you before, like when I say as int array, only integer data type can be there. Same way, like if I say a string array, I can still have a string data types. Like if I want to keep a week's information into one array, I can say the array name as week, and I can keep like each array, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For this, I want to make one string array. Similar way, okay, but it will be a string array because I'm going to keep string values here. So since it is string, it should be in double quotes. So I can have like this: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So let's now print this one and see here. See, this variables can be any type, but it should be always be a meaningful value for understanding. Day of the week. So now if you see, same logic has been applied here. Day of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's the same. So if you are having, how I told you, like if you have an kid's first birthday album, that album will be full of kids first birthday related photos. If you are having a student who came for an interview, that folder will have all the certificates. So similar way, like if you have a string array, it will be all string. If there is an int array, it will be all int. So usually, like now you are submitting all your certificate to your college. So what college will have? College doesn't have like only one student file, right? They will have like each classrooms will have 60 students, and each classroom will have 60 files. So when they keep, like when we consider one file as an array, and if there are 60 files, and they will keep again that one into a very big what you call as a closet or a bureau or a cupboard, okay, to maintain all the data secretly and safely, right? So that place, what you will call, like it is a cupboard which is holding all the files. When you call a single file as an array, that cupboard is also an array, but it is holding another array. So C sharp also supports the concept of holding an array inside an array. Any doubt in this, or you can't understand what I'm saying? See, this is nothing but an example of an array. If you see, there will be many things in your home, and instead of keeping everything somewhere, like I want to keep all the medicines. If you go to a medical shop or a pharmacy or any of your home, you will have all the things sorted out in a proper way, right? Then that is very easy for accessing and keeping everything. So this is what we call it as an array. Inside is, each one will be having multiple data, but instead of having single data, if you take one single file which will have your own 10 certificate, 12 certificate, and your college and any extracurricular activity certificates in that, so that is one file. Whereas here, like each one will have multiple tablets or something here, but they all are kept under same box or cupboard, and this is nothing but array of arrays. So any questions in that? So it has a capability of holding array of arrays, so that we call it as a jagged array. So where each array, here there are four arrays are there, each array will hold another one array. So that concept is called as jagged array. It is like when you're handling with a very complex one, like if you are creating one student application, you should go for this kind of concepts to handle all those data. When we look into the data structure, we will get more into this logic. Any questions or any doubts? If no questions, then I can close the session. Okay, thank you. Or any other questions related to today's session or previous session or any doubts? Okay, tomorrow we can have some small quiz kind of session. So I'm expecting everyone to participate. Okay, and let's meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye. Dear participants, kindly fill the feedback form. It will be posted in the chat box. So don't forget to fill the feedback forms. So these attempts will be considered to give the certifications to you guys.